Hello! Happy Wednesday, Paint Partiers! It's Lisa from Lisa's Paint Parties. We're going to be starting our weekly paint session very soon. It's about 5 minutes to 6 p.m. so we will get started a little bit after 6. So as you guys are jumping on, say hi. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. And like I said, we'll be starting pretty soon. You can get all your supplies ready to go, which is what I'm going to be doing. So, oh, hello. Fantastic. Nice. Hello, everyone. All right, so like always, I have my canvas board. So I'm using an 11 by 14 canvas board. I'm going to be doing it in a nice landscape format for our painting today. We have our trusty paint colors, my lovely Dollarama paint colors. I have our primaries, blue, red, and yellow, and I also have my black and my white paints. So you got those going. If you have these 5 colors at least, you can make anything you want with that. I do have some additional premix colors, and if you do as well, we can always play with that too. So we can don't feel limited in any fashion. So this again is we're going to recreate this this image, and I want you to make it your own. So that's how we do all of our sessions. Hello. Oh, fantastic. I have some from Brockton, Kitchener-Waterloo, Nevada, another fellow. Are we called Ajaxians? I don't know. That's what I say. Maureen, I'm not sure if we have like a title. Ajax people. Bowmanville, awesome, fantastic. Hello, everyone. Hopefully we can ward off some of those scammer that like to come in on these paint party sessions. So if you see any weird links appear to say to click or something like that, don't click. This is where you will be at. I will start painting right here. Don't give any money. Don't give any personal information. Just stay where you are, and we will start painting in a bit. And if you see that pop up as I'm painting, or if I miss it, if you can just let people know, like make a comment or say don't click it or whatever, and I'll try to delete them as if anyone comes on. And they usually seem to come like at the first bit, which I guess kind of makes sense. So we'll try to ward them off. Fantastic. So I also have my water containers ready to go. And I have my paintbrushes. So I have a large, a medium, and a fine in relation to my canvas. So that's what I have ready to go today. Again, I don't really specify sizes because it really depends on what canvas you're going to be using. So if you're using a large canvas, like this brush is not going to do you any good. So just get it in relation to what you're using. Fantastic. Hey, everyone. So Shayla's asking what we're going to paint. Well, we're going to paint this beautiful image. So this week, the 3 options we had were 3 paintings from a Canadian artist named Lisa Lorenz. I found her with a Google search, and I just loved her style of painting. So I wanted to try to emulate it. And this was the painting that was the winner. It had, I think it was 73% of the vote last week. So a lot of you guys really loved it. We'll go a little bit closer. So there you go. So if you need to, you can grab a screenshot. It won't be the best. I'll try to hold it steady. But that's about it. But you can also grab it from the post, from the event post. I have the pictures there too. And also the winning post. So I put this is the winner, and that has a picture there. So you may want to go back to the page and grab that just as reference as we go through. Some of you will paint faster than I will. Some of you will paint slower. So it's just good for you to have your reference as well. And so like I said, this is a reference painting. So this is another artist, and we're going to do our own interpretation of this image. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through how I will go about doing it, but I very much recommend that you do whatever you like to do. So if you want to change an element, if you want to add something in the boat, you want to add a person, you want to change the color of the sky, you want to change the buildings, whatever you want to do, I want you to feel free to make it your own. Okay. The way we're going to tackle this week is going to be a little different than previous weeks. So what we're going to be doing is, we're going to start off for the first time in our paint party history. I'm going to grab a pencil and we're going to sketch in with a pencil kind of the basic, like where we want the things to live in our painting. So I would suggest right now, grab a pencil. And when I say sketch, don't get scared about it. This is just going to give you an idea of where each element is going to live. So I don't want you to do detailed drawings. We're just going to kind of like decide the house is going to be here, another house is going to be here, the boat's going to be here, and that kind of flow. So when we start to paint, we can be more particular about it. This painting will probably take about 2 hours, maybe 3, potentially. It looks simple enough, but sometimes the simple paintings take a lot longer to do. So just prepare for that. This will be available afterwards. So after this session, as all of my paint parties, it'll be under the videos tab on my paint party page, and you can watch them whenever you want. So yeah, so feel free to just watch it afterwards. So once we're done doing the live, it will take a little bit of time, so it'll probably be available on Facebook probably by about 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tonight. Otherwise, you'll get it tomorrow, and it'll also be on our YouTube channel as well, so I'll talk you through how to do that. All right, so why don't we start that process? So there's about almost 30 of you guys on, so anyone who's going to be joining me and doing it live right now, let's start as I'm talking and seeing if everyone's all good. Start sketching out how you want and where you want those elements to live, okay? I'm going to be doing that as well, and I'll turn the camera to my canvas so you can kind of see how I'm doing it, and hopefully you can see the pencil on the canvas. Like I said, I haven't actually tried this live yet, so we'll see how that goes, okay? Alrighty, before I start, I'm going to tie my hair back and also have a drink of water. Let's do some water first. Make sure you have something to drink with you. And get your hair out of your face. I'll make sure I do so my hair doesn't fall into my face as I am videoing this whole process. I have my I just got this shirt recently, which I'm very excited about. This is my Schitt's Creek shirt. If anyone's a Schitt's Creek fan, they won like tons of awards this week, so I was very excited about that because they deserve it. It's a great show if you haven't checked it out. So yeah, all right, let's start off. Let me move my camera so you can see my canvas. All right, so there we go. Okay. Okay, I think I might move this a bit too. Give me a moment while I move things without spilling water everywhere. I'll go like this. I'm gonna go like this. Oh yeah, you can definitely watch it tomorrow instead. You can watch it anytime. Everything will stay up online, so you can watch it whenever you so desire. Okay, so using the original picture as my reference, I'm gonna start to like sketch in where I want certain elements to live. So the first thing I'm going to start with is just kind of build where I want the water to live. So how high up is that water going to be? So I'm going to put it about 1/3 of the way up. Okay, so I'm just going to, with my pencil, just kind of drag it across lightly. Okay, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It may be bigger on one side, the other. It's okay. Just get like an idea. Try to keep it straight. Right? And then right above the water, there's a gray, I guess like the walk or like the, you know, I don't know what anything's called. If you guys have joined me before, you'll know I'm not, apparently I know no words. But it's like a barrier essentially, sort of like some kind of concrete barrier. So let's just create that as well. And that's just gonna go right above the water line. Okay, so I'm just bringing it across so I have an idea of where it's gonna be, right? And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to start putting in where I want the boat to be. So normally I would kind of go further back first, but I'm not going to do that this time. I want to really, because the boat's the main attraction, right? So let's play out where we want this boat to live. So the boat's going to be almost the entire size of the canvas. It's just going to be slightly in on either side, okay? So if we look at the picture, it kind of goes above this barrier a bit, and the point's up here, and it kind of goes down on a slight angle, okay? And again, it's not perfect. That's okay, because we're going to be painting anyways, right? This is for us to have that view of where we want us to live. The bottom of the boat is pretty straight, so we're going to bring it across. Okay. And it's smaller here. So here, it's going to curve upwards, have a line here. But it's not going to go as high up as where the barrier is, right? Okay. And so similarly, we're going to connect this top part to this bottom part, and we're going to bring it across, right? So let's just sketch that part in. Okay, there we go. Okay, hopefully you guys can see it all right. Hard, I don't know how pencil is showing up on this. All right, and then just for heck of it, well, I'm just gonna see if I like that line. Like, it's a little bit off, obviously. So let's just, and then I'm just going to, the boat has a bit of a, there we go. So there's a, like there's a white kind of lip on it there. And then there's a red, it's like green and then red. So I'm basically thinking about this as if you guys were coloring like a coloring book, right? So look at it that way. So like, where would the lines on the coloring book be? So let's put in those lines so then we can then easily color in the inside of those elements, right? Okay, cool. So we got that going. Fantastic. So the next part of the boat that we're gonna do is the middle part here. So kind of right in the center, it's on a weird angle on this particular boat. It kind of tilts this way like this. It's about there. I think I made mine a little high. Yeah, because actually this line is actually not as high as that tip there. Oh my gosh, erasing on a canvas I don't think you're supposed to do. Good luck if anyone has to erase on canvas. Oh, it didn't turn out that bad. All right, so it looks like this part here doesn't really go higher than this tip here. So let's try and look at the painting for reference, and that's then now gonna go up a bit. And how wide is that? There we go, so it actually made it a little too big. So I'm gonna bring it like this. And then we're gonna bring that out. So we're gonna make, it almost looks like, as if you're gonna draw like a boxy car inside the boat. That's kind of what it reminds me of. Okay, so I'm just gonna do an element like that. Okay. So just break it down into basic lines and shapes. Don't get in your head thinking about, I'm drawing a boat. Don't do that. Just think of it as like you're drawing a line, you're drawing a shape. And then now that I realize my eraser actually works kind of well here, and because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, I'm gonna try to erase some of those lines. Because I can't help myself. All right, okay, next part. Okay, so what else about this random part of the boat here? So it's a different color on the top. Okay. And on this particular guy, there are some windows. My windows might be a little different, so I'm just gonna get one here, and we're gonna put another one right beside it. See, my window's already kind of weirdly big. It's too big for this boat. That's fine, okay. And then there's some more here. Just to get an idea of where they live. Okay. Awesome. Wow, there's been like no scammy links today. This is like very exciting. There's always like a few, so I'm like, huh, wonder what happened to them. All right. Okay, and then in this boat, there's like some weird barrels in it. So we can pop those in. Let's see, so we got like one like here. We got another here. Another in the back, another here, okay, awesome. So we got some weird barrel things going on. All right, and then let's put in our flagpole. Just have an idea again of where it lives. You're gonna end up probably painting over it anyways. Just to have an idea of where it's going to be placed on the boat. Okay. flag comes out. Alright, so there's the flag. Okay. Alright. What else am I missing here? Oh yeah, there's the other part of the boat here, that kind of back of the boat, I suppose. Okay. So I guess this seems to be all one color, one connected piece there. Awesome. So we got a boat. All right. Well, so if you can't see the back of the boat, it might be the rotation you have. So I have to use my cell phone when I film these lives. So on my screen, it is showing the whole picture. So maybe you have yours on like horizontal view. If you flip it, it should show the entire picture. I know that's happened before in the past. Yeah, Tammy, you absolutely can. So you can definitely watch it any other time. All my videos, my previous videos, are all available for free on the Lisa's Paint Party site and also on my YouTube site as well. So you can watch them whenever your heart desires. All right, so now let's put in some of our background houses to get an idea of where they're going to live. So which one should we start off with? I kind of want to start off with the yellow one in the middle, just to kind of center things, I think. That's kind of right in the middle. Okay, so this house goes, I don't know, is that one? So almost like 1/5 of the top of your canvas, essentially. That's where the top, that roof of that yellow house, yellow building is going to be. Okay, so it's going to be about like that, I think. It's pretty big. I feel like I'm going to make it too big. I'm a little apprehensive. Okay, and then let's bring, so it kind of comes out a bit. Okay. Okay, and it does kind of go to a point at the top. Okay. And it's going to come down. I think I definitely made this one like much bigger. I don't know if I can't fit 2 more houses on that side. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's all right. If not, then it has just they're bigger houses in my world. That's totally acceptable and fine. Okay, so I don't know if I'm going to put the windows in right yet. And again, when you paint it, you can see where some of your errors are made. Also, I'm kind of trying to draw it while it's upright, which is throwing off my lines. So if you're doing it flat, you can feel free to use a ruler or try to get those lines more straight. It will look a little bit better, I think, if they are a bit straighter, since they are like architectural buildings. Otherwise, they're going to look a little funky. Not up to code. Okay, and then there you have another one here. And this one apparently is bigger, and it's going to go behind the yellow house because I made it bigger. Cool. And then slit gap. That works out. All right. Okay, and then on the other side, oh, there's one back here. We'll draw that little guy in the background. Nice. There's that guy in the background. And then what else do we got? We have another one on this side, and I think I might just draw the one. And then that blue house might be left out to pasture. I'm not going to be able to get that guy in. Okay. That would probably end around there, and maybe we'll come, I don't know if I'm going to worry about that. I'm going to keep it behind my yellow house just for simplicity's sake, I think. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay, The sun's going to live here. I'm not going to bother drawing the sun because I think we can handle that a bit later, nor will we bother with the birds. And then we have the posts, but again, I'm not going to worry about the posts too much because we're going to end up painting behind, like the houses and whatnot before we do the posts, and they're just going to get covered. All right, so I think, and also if you notice, I didn't put the birds in either for the same reason, because if I draw the birds, we're going to end up covering it as well. And granted, like we might get a little bit of that happening because we're going to obviously want to have this house show through like in these little like windows of the boat. So we're going to paint over some of this too. But this is more just to make sure like it makes sense in terms of where we want the boat to live. So that's going to happen, but really it's just for us to have a guide. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So we have a sketch going. Amazing. Like I said, this is the first time in our paint party history that we started with a sketch. So yeah, we'll see how it all goes. All right, so now that once you have your sketch, what I would suggest doing is we're going to start painting the things furthest in the background, which that's going to be your sky and it's going to be your water. So regardless which one you want to do first, you're going to need some blue unless you're going for an apocalyptic, I didn't say that word right, theme. Or if you want to make it like a sunset sky, or if you want to do something else, you can do that too. I'm going to go with blue right now. Stick with that for a bit. Okay. I haven't seen any other comments, so I think you guys are good for now. I'm going to take another sip of water before I start painting. Oh, okay, fantastic. Okay, great. All right, so let's start that up. Okay, so which one do I want to use first? I think I'm going to use my big brush, and I think I'm going to start off with my sky. And what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to get some water and just wet the canvas a bit of where my sky is going to be. And when you paint your sky, you are going to paint on top of the sketch that you just did, and that's completely fine. Okay, but you don't need to go really far with it, right? Like you just need it to be where you're going to be able to see it, right? So you just need to go just slightly below the line of the top of those houses, right? Okay, so now that I have a bit of water on there, okay, now her style is, it almost looks like pencil crayon kind of vibe. It's really neat looking. It looks, yeah, so it's, I think, how are we going to try to emulate that? Okay, let's go right for some blue on our brush. And let's just try to get some blue sky going on top of the wet canvas we just created, okay? So let's just get blue a little bit on the same brush. Okay, and we're just going to put that on. So when you're putting acrylic paint on a wet canvas, it thins it out immediately, right? And it already kind of creates it very light coverage on the entire canvas. I'm also making sure I'm painting the top of my canvas and the sides. So I'm using a canvas board, so it's not like that bad if I don't do this part, because very likely I'd be putting this into a frame or something anyways. But if you're using an actual canvas with actual sides that you're going to hang, then you're going to want to make sure the sides have some paint, so for the continuity of the picture. Okay. Okay, so now that I have a blue, it's still very streaky. I'm going to get a little bit of white, and I'm going to go white right over what I just did. And I might keep it a bit more with the white paint in certain areas. So I might not put white over the entire thing. You can if you want. It depends on how you're liking it to look. So if you're putting it on, you like the way the sky is looking, you want it a little bit lighter, then just keep adding a little bit more white to it and blending it. And I'm kind of digging it in certain spots. At the same time, you don't have to make it super uniform, because if you keep it kind of with this like back and forth streaky motion, it's gonna feel like almost that kind of streaky sky look that she kind of has in hers. And once it dries a bit, we can start kind of like putting in a little bit of like clouds in here too. I can almost start doing that now, realistically. Let's try. So if we get some white, just like, yeah, maybe we can do that. All right, so yeah, if you got just white on the edge, you can just like dab it a bit, and you can kind of start to have a bit of texture in your sky too. Yeah, it's working nicely actually with the way the canvas is feeling. So all I'm doing is just getting a little bit of white paint, and then I'm just dabbing it. And as you dab it, everything's wet, right? So it keeps picking up the color from the back. So if you want to keep it white, you got to keep adding more paint to your brush. So you're kind of like constantly going back into the paint if you want more pure white to show. I think that's going all right. It's like a slight feeling of some clouds. And I'm gonna go into where my houses are, because the clouds shouldn't just be like above where the houses are. That's gonna look kind of weird. They should be behind the houses. So make sure you get some of those clouds like over where some of your houses are gonna live, because then when you put your houses in, it's gonna look more realistic. Okay. So do as much or as little as you want. This is just for fun. And again, this is my interpretation of it, because it's not gonna be exactly the same. It's gonna have that vibe, right? So I wanna have kind of these fluffy, yeah, I'm really liking them. One of my first paint sessions we did on here, where we did clouds, I think I did horrible on them. And I was really like embarrassed to have put it up and tried to like go through that process with you guys. But now I'm starting to really love it. And that's part of it, right? Like you need to fail a bit and have fun with it before you can kind of make it come out more, right? So if yours are looking kind of funky, don't worry about it, especially if it's like one of your first times doing it. I'm gonna just get some blue paint too and just put some more blue in here. Okay. So some of the streakiness of my lines I'm not really liking, so I'm just going over and just dabbing it out a bit to kind of make it look like the sky is like more textured and more cloudy. And I'm liking the way that's looking a bit more. But that streakiness gave me a good base to be able to do that, so it holds it nicely. Yeah, I think that's good. Absolutely, Bonnie. Yeah, absolutely. So definitely channel your Bob Ross. Paint happy little clouds, happy little trees. Have fun with it. They can be really tricky. I find it like when you're painting wet on wet, I find the best results come from that when I've been doing it. When you let it dry a bit too, it's not bad as well, because then you can kind of emphasize the more brighter white areas. Because then that will be easier to kind of put on. Because like here, I want to put in a few more like white highlights, and it's harder for it to happen. Okay, it's not bad. I just need to get more white paint on my brush. Also, when you're doing it, be mindful of like how you're holding your brush, and if you're always going over the same area, holding it like the same way, then it kind of can end up looking like uniform. So you may want to like just move your brush a little bit to the side so it doesn't look as stenciled or like the same pattern, just has a more natural look. Because I've noticed I've tended to do that too. When I get too into it, I'm like going at it, and then it's like it looks way too uniform. As it dries too, it gets like a little more tacky, like the paint. So then when you want to put another layer on top, I find it also sticks better, and it kind of creates a cool texture as well. There we go. Yeah, I think that is cool. It's definitely different than the original, but I'm digging it, and we're gonna go with it. All right, so let's move on to the water once your clouds are drying. So we're gonna use blue as well. I have a lot of white on my brush. I don't really like to wash it too much in between, especially if I'm gonna use the same color. But when there's too much white on it, I feel like it's going to not give me what I want. Okay, so I'm gonna do a similar thing at the bottom where I'm gonna just get some water, get it wet a bit at the bottom just so we can get nice coverage going. Ooh, that was maybe a little bit too much. When it like drips down, it might be a little much. I think I did that there. I don't think. It definitely happened there. Okay, again. And the water should go above where the boat is and above where that back line is, just so you can have good continuity. Okay. All right, so let's do the water. So I'm just gonna use the blue, and again, because it's wet, it's gonna thin it out quite a bit, but we're gonna get nice coverage right away. And it's automatically gonna have that like streaky vibe to it, which is a good way to start this off. Okay, and again, we're gonna get the sides. And we're gonna do the bottom, even though I'm gonna put my painting right back down on it again. But it will still have blue on it, so that's good. Get the side here too. All right. I think I got too much water on mine. It's a little too wet. It's gonna take a little bit of time to dry. It won't take that much time realistically. Acrylic, even with the water, it's pretty fast. I'm gonna rinse that out a bit. So I'm just gonna let that dry off a little bit before I start to play with it, because I do want this water to be more opaque, and that's not happening just yet. Because right now I just want to get good coverage across the entire bottom of the canvas. You could alternately, if you don't want to use the water technique, like to put water on it first and do it, you can just go straight up with the paint. But what happens is the paint ends up using a lot more paint in that case, right? So by doing it this way, you get good coverage, and then when we go on top and add another layer, you're not using as much paint. So it works out well. All right, you guys all doing okay so far? Hope you guys are. All right, I'm just gonna tilt it a little bit more that way. Okay, so we got the sky, we got the water. Okay, we're gonna start up in there in a moment. What's going on? All right. Okay, so we're gonna layer on top of that first wash of blue water that we put on. I want to make it a little darker, so I'm going to get more of that blue paint and we're going to put it on. It's still not dry yet. I'm just going to start doing that because I am a little impatient. If you have if you want it to dry faster, if you have a hair dryer or something like that, you can use that as well. I do not have that available at the moment, so we're going to leave it like so. Once up here starts drying, we can start working on these houses as well. So I might jump into that while the lake dries off a little bit. Okay. Yeah, so since this is taking a bit of time to dry, I'm going to go back up here and just start coloring in some of the houses. So I'm going to start off with this one here. And for this one, like in the picture, it's kind of a turquoise color. I do have like a turquoise paint. So I'm going to play with that because I really want to use this color. If you don't have turquoise, it's fine. You can do like a light blue, or you can really paint it any color you want. If you have a different color that you really like, we can do that too. And for this house, and I guess I'm just bouncing to this house now just to get a color on it because the water is a little too wet. So it's going to be tricky for us to paint that. Okay, so I'm going to start and just get this color on this house here. Okay, so it's a turquoisey color. And I'm just going to follow the lines that I made. And I'm using my medium brush just because I have a bit more control on it, because I want to make sure that I kind of stay in those lines. Okay. Okay, and we're basically going to color it in. And I'm going to need to do these areas here because you're going to be able to see the house through here. And so it's up to you how you want to paint this. I'm going to kind of mask some of my paint strokes by just kind of doing like little like X's. So it's not just all one way or all another way. Little baby X's. Okay. And I'm going to go all the way down here. And I think I just need to do it like that. I don't know if I need to do that part there. No, I'm going to paint over it. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to paint over it and then I'll repaint that in. I really want to make sure there's continuity and it doesn't look weird when we're trying to put in like the door frame or other things in the house. It might look strange. That might throw us off. Okay. Okay, so we have this nice turquoise house right there. Okay. And there's some more you can do to it as well, which we'll go through that afterwards too, because we can add, if you look at the picture, there's a little bit of like, it's a bit of a shadow, like just below where the roof of the house lives. And then when we have the windows and whatnot, there's a little bit like, there's some highlights as well around, so we can play with that too once it dries off a little bit. Okay, we'll just get that background on, which is nice. still pretty wet, so I don't want to go there yet. All right, and then I'm just gonna bounce over to this house, and then also I just want to get like the main colors going on the background of these places so we can start, because we really want to get into the details. That's what's really going to make this whole piece pop. Well, and also the clouds, I guess. The clouds are pretty great. I'm pretty happy with them. And that wasn't even in the original picture. I'd still put the sun in, I suppose. I guess I'm going to put the sun on top of my clouds. We'll see. Maybe I'll put clouds on top of the sun after. I'm not sure. We'll play with it. Maybe I'm just going to have a cloudy day. Okay. So I'm going to, for this house here, so I only put 3 main houses and 1 in the background here. And this house is going to be red for me. Okay. So I'm going to use my red paint that is craftily called Christmas Red for this house right here. Okay. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with this one here, and I'm going to stay kind of in that area here where I can't really see the lines too well. So I'm using still my medium brush because I have a bit more control over it. So for me, as I always say, I always use like dollar store paints. The thing with dollar store paints, you can still create amazing paintings, things that look really great. But the thing is, the consistency from one paint to another can change quite drastically. So that would be the annoyance of it, is that one paint can be really thick and one paint can be really thin, and it's like the exact same brand. So that's annoying. But it's also very cheap. I find though, if you can kind of learn to be adaptable with cheap paints and you can create things with it and you're digging it, then when you get more expensive paints, you'll be able to really appreciate and be able to maneuver them really well. That's how I look at it. But again, I'm also like cheap, and so if you can already afford expensive ones and you're like, no, I'm going to stick with these, then that's totally your prerogative to do. Okay, so again, I'm just going to make like little X's when I'm painting because I don't want my strokes to be super uniform. And that's just going to be like my style because I want it to have a little bit of texture even on the houses. Okay, and I might go over that again. I don't know if it's going to be opaque enough for me, but we'll see. So that one's going to be red. And this big guy here is going to be yellow. So I think, oh, my water's starting to get good. Maybe I should go back to my water. Yeah, you know what? Before I do any other background houses, let's go back down to the water. Where is my paper towel? There we go. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go back down to this, and I'm going to get some of that paint again. Same dark blue that I had. I'm just going to put another layer right on top of this. Again, it's still not perfectly dry, so it's pulling off a little bit, but that's fine. It's more than it was before, so now it's sticking on and getting nice and dark, which is what I want. I like this color blue. It's really pretty. Okay. Okay, so now that that's a nice shade that I'm digging, I don't want to use this big brush. I'm going to use my medium brush again, I think, or maybe my fine one. I'm not exactly sure, but I want to put some like ripples in the water. I'm just going to clean off this brush a bit. Okay, cool. Which one do I want to use? Yeah, I think I'll use my medium brush. Okay, I'm going to use it to start, and then I might switch over to my fine one, depending on how it feels. So I'm going to get some white on my medium brush. My medium brush is like really like very flat and kind of thin, and they're very thick bristles on this brush, so I'll see if it gives me what I want. So I'm just going to just kind of stroke in white, remembering that every time you stroke on top of wet paint, it ends up picking up the paint color that's behind it. So if you want it to be more pure, if you want the white to stand out more, then you need to keep dipping back into the white. If you want like a very strong white streak, you need to kind of go back into the white. When you do this, remember your boat needs to be on top of it. So you don't want the streaks to kind of end just before where the boat starts, because that's going to look kind of weird. So you want the streaks to kind of go behind where the boat lives, right? So then when you put the boat on top, it will look more natural, look more realistic that way. Okay? And you can go back and forth. So once you go in and you put in some of these streakies with white, if you're like, ooh, I did too many in white, go back in and get the blue, and you can go in and like dull them out if you want to. And this technique of going back and forth with colors to putting streaks like this into the water is one of my favorite techniques to use on water. And the more layers that you put on, the better it's going to look. It keeps looking more and more, I don't know, like it just looks more, has more depth to it. It's very cool. Right? And if you want, like, this seems like a pretty calm, because the boat's not moving. It's like, it's pretty much like, well, it might be, I don't know, it looks kind of like it's parked there, I guess, but I guess it could be moving, I suppose. Because it depends on your interpretation of it. If you want to make it look like it's kind of, the water has more movement to it, instead of having these straight lines, you can kind of like give it like little curves, like rock your brush and do like little curves, and that will make the water look a little bit like upset, and that will look really cool. I actually have a painting that I did a long time ago, which I'm going to grab to show you what I mean by that. I don't know if you saw my leg in that process, but let me show you. So with this painting, if you look at the way I did the water here, right, you can see like I just used the stroke up. So I just kind of like tilted it upwards, and then you have like a really cool, like it makes it look like there's a lot more movement in the water. So you could use something like that onto here, and then that would give it that same effect as well. This painting was like a San Francisco silhouette bridge thing, but I really had fun with the water. And you can put different colors, and again, I did a lot of layers onto it, so then it really builds it up and it makes it look, has a lot more depth to it. And then you could add more colors too. So if you wanted to go with that and you wanted to put more, you know, if you wanted to get some turquoise and throw that in, or if you wanted to, you know, put a bit of yellow or something like that, like you can add a few different things to it and it could turn out really cool. Depends on what you want to play, how you want to do it. So let's see, if we want to like rock it a bit, we would just do a little like that. But again, we don't want them super uniform. And I think I am going to do that because that's how I feel like today. I feel like I need some motion in this water. And that's how I'm going to change my interpretation of it. And I recommend that you do whatever you want to do. If you want to keep it, the water being a bit more steady, do it. If you want to put some movement, do it. I might grab some turquoise too and play with it. Yeah. Alright, so you can just play with it. Oh, thanks, Bonnie. Bonnie was saying that San Francisco's her home. That's fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, the bridge, that was, anytime we do silhouette, once you've worked so hard on like the background, it's always a little, well, a lot terrifying because you don't want to like mess it up. But yeah, I'm very happy with the way that turned out. especially when it's a bridge too, or any type of like structure. When you're doing like a tree, you have so much more room to like make a mistake. You're like, oh, the branch is like this. But like when it's like a structure or like a house, if it's off, it doesn't look right. So it's a lot less forgiving when you're doing like structures, right? If you really want to make them look more realistic. So it's a lot, I don't know, it's a lot more freeing, I find, when you do landscapes and anything more natural. But, oh, yeah. You put the lines in, you're like, oh. All right, so I'm gonna play with that. And again, if I decide as I'm going through it, I'm like, yeah, I went a little bit crazy and I don't actually like it, I can just paint right on top, because that's the beautiful thing about acrylic. You're never stuck with what you do. You can always wait till it dries and then paint right back on top if you don't like it. So that's the great thing about it. So I'm gonna keep it like that. Have it a little bit of like rocky water going on, because I feel like it today. I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to paint this building in yellow. So I have yellow paint ready to go. Same thing with my medium-sized brush, and we're going to just paint as if we are outlining an image that we are coloring in. This guy goes right over here. And I'm going to paint right over that guy. That, oh right, yeah, I do want to go underneath here too. That's true. Ooh, got some on my turquoise house. Not too good. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing. I want to make it look, just put some X's so it's not like the brush strokes are going one particular way or other. There we go. Okay, and I might need a little bit more. I probably need a little bit yellow here because the blue is showing through. So once that dries, I'm going to probably put a bit more yellow on top of it here. And I might do the same if there's other areas that you can still see the background on and we don't want to. So that could be something we do as well. Okay, cool. So this is pretty good to go. So I might start locking in the colors of my boat, because basically the first step is like you want to color block. That's how I'm approaching it. You're going to color block the main areas, and then we're going to put in the details on top of that, right? So now that we have most of the background, we still need to get this house done, and then we need to get this boat done. Yeah, and these windows are, yeah, boat windows, so we're good. Okay, yeah, awesome. So now, yeah, let's get this boat going. So I already have some yellow happening. Maybe I can just mix it with my blue and go from there. Yeah, you know what, I'm just going to use that. So I'm just mixing yellow with my blue that's already on my palette, and I'm going to paint this boat green. So again, just kind of like coloring it in. Now, I wish I had that line. Where does this boat end? Boat here, I guess. Let's say. How does it end? Yeah, like that. Sure. Right, I have like a red bottom on it. Okay. So I want to get close, but I'm gonna try to maintain the integrity of these lines. Try being the operative phrase. If not, we'll have to just go over it with a fine brush afterwards and play with it there. Okay, got my green boat. This boat is kind of it's almost like a mossy green that I've created with the paint I was playing with here. So I'm just filling it in, and I think I do want this to be, unlike the crisscrossy or X's I was doing here, I do want this to be a bit more like solid and like have the line just go straight across it. But we'll see. As it dries, I'll see. If it's not opaque enough, I'm going to put another coat on top of that as well. Cool-EO. All right. Now where do we want to jump to next? So the reason why I'm jumping back and forth too is that we want to let each section dry before you add like a different color, because if you do that, then it's going to mix together and it'll be harder for you to control. So that's why I'm going from like one spot to another spot, just to ensure that we are able to have just that color happening in those areas. So if you're like, why are you going from one spot? That's the reason. That's hands down the reason. Just gonna rinse this brush off a bit. There we go. Okay. There's also like a green, right? The same green goes right up here too. So I'm gonna do that as well. Where is my thin brush? Where do you live? There you go. Okay. I'm just going to mix a little bit more of that green, which is a bit lighter than what I had mixed initially, but that's okay. And I'm just going to paint this part. I'm being a little willy-nilly on it. I got to be a bit more structured here. I'm going to go right across to give it that continuity. Okay. Is there anything else with that green? No, that I can see. So the only green thing on this page is that boat, which makes it really stand out. Okay, well that's good to know. Good to realize. Ah, yeah, BC. BC is just saying that it's a bit fast. And it is a bit. It is fast, but remember too, like this is just, and you, yeah, definitely, you can watch the replay and you can pause it and you can kind of like go at your own pace, which is the nice thing about watching the replay for sure. But remember too, it's fast, but this is simple. You guys can all do it. It's like coloring in, right? So you have your areas. We're basically choosing each section and we're coloring in one section at a time. So really simplifying it, but yes, I do know that is my downfall, is that I do go quickly. But yeah, but you can definitely watch it anytime that you like. Okay, I'm going to be a little picky here and just kind of color in green. This little fine little tip here, even though probably won't matter because I'm going to end up having to redo it later anyways, but I'm just doing it because I'm a perfectionist a bit. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, so why don't we get the purple on this back house here. I'm going to use a pre-mixed purple. Oh, maybe I'll mix my turquoise and my red. Ooh, maybe I'll do that actually. Okay, I'm going to play with my turquoise and my red and see if I get like what kind of purplish violet-y color I get from that, if I like it. Okay. not really digging it. Oh yeah, it's a bit of a violet now. I kept seeing gray when I was doing it, and I was like, I don't know about this. So this guy's going to be kind of a purple. I might paint over it if I don't like the way this shade. Oh, actually it looks better when I put it on the canvas. Yay. Okay, now I think I'm gonna have to do purple down this middle here, probably a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna get my thinner brush. I think maybe I can get away with not. No, I think I'm gonna have to make it purple down that middle part. Okay. Oh, nice. I put my finger right where it was wet. Okay, I'll just redo that in a moment. It's okay. Any mistake can be fixed, especially with acrylic paint. It's not a big deal. It sucks, but it's not a big deal. I'm going to do that right now. There we go. And then we'll paint that part afterwards when we paint the rest of this boat cabin section part. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, so I definitely want to make this boat more opaque. That's for sure. I can see a lot of the strokes, so I'm definitely going to put another coat on that. Not right away, but I will be doing that once it dries a bit more. The other thing, let's see where we're going to go next. I think we can put some of the detail on this house here because that's now fully dried. So I think I'm going to use this one. So on the image here, it's kind of a gray and it has like a bit of a black outline. So I think we're going to go with like a gray. Where's my black? And then we'll decide if we want to attempt to do like any sort of outline because that's a little scary with paint. Okay, so I think I don't know if I want to use this brush or if I want to use my other one. Let's see which one will be my friend. Okay, yeah, this one's okay. So now that I wet it and now it's cooperating a little bit better, we'll use that one. Okay, so let's get some white, let's get some black, make a bit of a gray. Okay, and I'm just gonna do the outline, the detail on this house here. There's also a white line that goes in between it as well. So that's kind of the roof. We do the white line first. I'm gonna go all in. Yeah, let's go all in. Let's do this gray and then I'll put the white detailing after. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. feel like I'm holding my breath as I'm doing this. Not gonna go all the way because I'm gonna still put that white line in between it. Okay, so that's the roof there. I do think it will look nice with a little bit of a black edge to it, but oof, it's gonna scare me to do that. We'll see. We'll see if I gather enough courage to put in to try to like outline it with black. That's seems a little scary, but we can try. Okay, also that's in gray, we have that back part there, like that concrete, say pillar, I guess? I'm not really sure. Barrier, that sounds right. Concrete barrier, so people don't, fall into the water. That's what we're gonna paint next. Oh, awesome, Angela. Yeah, when you guys do, if you're painting later, please snap a picture of it and share it too. For everyone, obviously. Whoever's painting, I want to see your paintings. That's the fun part for me. Is to see how everyone made it their own. It's no fun when everything looks the same, right? We need to have things be different. Different interpretations and styles. Okay. Side two. Nice. Okay. So there's that barrier there. Oh, I almost dipped it into my purple. I guess that would look kind of cool. Okay, now we're going to do this side here too. There's that. Okay. I feel like it looks way higher, and I think maybe my line was higher here. Yeah, it was. I painted over it because of the house. I'm going to just bring that a bit higher. And I'm going to bring that side a bit lower so it looks a little bit funky chicken. Okay. Well, that's how it's going to be for now. Awesome. All right. Now, what's the next thing that we're going to do? I think we can probably do the red roof on this guy because everything behind it is nice and dry. So, like, I know I'm bouncing from like one thing to the other, but then I want you to do the same thing. But for example, maybe you painted this side later than I did, so maybe you want to bounce to something else first, right? So just like use your, common sense and see what works for you. You don't have to follow it exactly the way I'm doing it. This isn't like you must go from here to there. Just do it however works for you, okay? But now this area here is like pretty dry because we haven't touched this spot. So I'm going to put in this like bright red roof. I'm going to go almost to the turquoise line, but I'm going to leave a slight gap because there's still like a bit of white that goes in between. So I don't need to go all the way to the turquoise. If I do though, it's fine too. Doesn't really matter. Okay. So that's that nice red roof right there. Okay. Okay, and then that roof's kind of like a bluish gray. Just looking at this one here. This one has like a roof, but it's kind of like a bluish gray going on. We're not going to really see it if we go too blue. I'm just going to make a gray and then just put a little bit of blue in there and see if that can come through okay. Then I'm going to do the same thing here. Oh yeah, that's fine. Just going to watch because I just did the red. Now I'm being a little dangerous here. Get close to the red, but don't touch the red. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I think now before doing this one here, I'm going to jump back down here and let's see, maybe we'll get this guy, we'll start painting in. Oh, you know what, actually, maybe we'll do, I don't know what I want to do next. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. We can kind of do whatever we want. This has kind of like a gray blue as well, but it's very like light. It's like white with like a little touch of blue or something. I definitely need more white. Let's do that. Okay. All right, so let's do. So I'm just making like a very light, like a gray kind of. Very light, and then I'm putting like a little smidgen of blue in it just to give it like a gray, like a very light gray blue. We'll see if I like it. I don't know, I might change it up. We'll see. Everything's up for debate. Okay, so I'm gonna paint this part here. I'm just going to go over the whole thing actually, and then I'll just re-put in my windows after, because the windows look kind of funky anyways, so I want to redraw them. I'm using my thinnest brush for this area just because it's, or my almost thinnest brush I should say. This is, I have like a really fine one for like detail. This one's like a number 3, so it's pretty fine, but it does give me good control over things. So that's what I want in it. Okay. I'm like tempted to do this, but we haven't really finished what's going on behind there, so I'm not going to do that yet, even though I really want to paint that part right now. All right, okay, moving right along. Okay, I'm gonna put in, I think, the red base of the boat there. Okay, I'm gonna try to use the red as is and see if it will come through nicely. If not, we might need to put a white base first, but oh no, it's working okay. Okay, and it does go all the way to the back. Okay. Needs to come up a little bit more. Yep, there we go. Okay, that's decent enough. Okay, I think I am going to wait till that dries and do another coat, just like I'm going to do with that green too, because I want it, again, to be a bit more opaque. You might as well, if you're looking at your waters and they look really murky, you might want to switch out your waters in your water containers. You want to get it clear so it doesn't like infiltrate the other colors and look kind of funky or weird, right? So remember to do that. Okay. All right, let's go back up here. Let's do that roof. Okay, that roof is very, very black, but it's almost like a very dark gray. So I'm going to mix some white, and I'm not going to use pure black on it. Okay. So this does stick out a bit here. Okay. Sorry, when I'm getting very detailed on things, I end up not saying much, so I apologize for the silence. I think, again, I'm holding my breath a bit to make sure the lines, I stay within the lines, you know? Okay, and it does go behind that tip, so I gotta make my roof a little bit okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, so now that we have this nice dark gray color and we have so many windows that we're gonna want to paint, let's use this as an opportunity to get some of those windows in. Okay, so you can choose where you want to start. It's really up to you. Just mixing a little bit more on my brush. Get some more paint going on here. Okay. I think I want to start with there's like a window right in here, and I'm going to basically just paint like a square. So kind of like centered in that point here. Okay, and I'm gonna try to paint like a square, and then afterwards we'll put like, we'll use white to accent to make the window frame. But right now I just want the kind of like the panes of the window, but we're just going to make a square. Ish. Right, if it's not like a perfect square, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, awesome. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it. I can't wait to see your paintings too. Try it out and see what you think. Again, it's very different than the other paintings that we've painted already, because we're being very technical, I guess. Very particular about where things are. So it's not usually my style. I like to paint like water and trees and skies, and if it makes a mistake, it doesn't matter. This is a little bit more like challenging for me as well. Okay, so I'm going to do another window here. Okay, also like another square. I'm going to try to center it kind of between this part of the building. Remember, you can always start smaller and then build it larger. There we go. You know, and if you want it to be super precise, you can use like stencils. You can like cut out paper. You can make sure that it's exactly the right size. That's totally fine too. I'm gonna try to make this window like equal on this side, but we'll see how that goes. Do it by eye and see if where it lands. Yeah, it's good enough. It's equal enough. It's all good. Okay, and then there's some more in this building. More and more and more. Okay, so there's another window that's here. Try to make it the same size. But again, with this one, it's going to stop right there. Okay. So using that as a guide, we don't need to continue the window there. And then there's another window that lives here. You guys can hear the dog barking outside. It's nice when we can hear the birds chirping than a dog barking, but that's okay. So that, because you can't see the rest of the window behind there, so that's fine. I think. Let me look. Sometimes I can see. Oh, I should bring that out a little bit more. It helps quite a bit when I look there and say, okay, something's off. I think that's a bit wider. Yeah, that looked better. And I think that looks a little better. Yeah, it's working pretty good when I look in there. Oh, so cool. Bonnie says she's using watercolors today. That's awesome. That's going to look really good. I think, you know what, that may actually have a much better effect. I can't wait to see yours. I think it's going to look really nice. Oh, and you're doing 2 paintings at the same time? Oh my goodness. Good luck. That's a challenge. I love it. Okay, cool. So, yeah, I have some cool fall Halloween images coming up as options starting for October. So I think you guys are going to dig them. I'm excited for you guys to see them. And then this is like the door. Ooh, I don't know if I should have made it that high. Oh well. I'm gonna roll with it. When I looked at it, the door is actually the same size as those windows, so I think I might have messed that up. That's okay. Can I look there to see? Oh yeah, that works. Alright, perfection. Oh, nice. Oh, cool, Bonnie. Bonnie also does paint nights too. That's fantastic. That's great. Yeah, no, I definitely like watching other people's styles too, because you pick up like little tips and tricks. And that's what's fun about it, right? All right, so we have that going. Let's put in 2 of the windows on this guy over here. Okay, so with this one, there's gonna be 2 windows. We're gonna try to make them equal. Again, let's do the best we can. I'm gonna try to have them a little bit over from the middle, like that's where that guy's gonna land, and it's gonna be just before this comes down here. So let's, okay, and again, try to go smaller than what you want to start, and then you can always make it bigger. Cool. And this one I want it to be a bit more rectangular, so I'm going to bring that down a little bit more. Yeah, this style is so precise that I'm like enjoying it, and it's also driving me crazy. Like I just want to go back to like paint that water. That's how I'm feeling about it right now. I think I'll be happy when it's done. I just feel very constricted in replicating the way I replicate this, you know? So let me just look there. Yeah, that guy looks a little bit funky. It's a little better. Now this one looks weird. Alright, let me just make this guy a little fatter. Yeah, it's a bit more balanced. Oh, Canwell, you can't find white paint, eh? Shoot. Yeah, no, I have my paint. I have a lot of paint, and I've had it for a long time. So I don't know what the availability is like currently in stores, but I usually get mine from Dollarama. But I do know earlier when the pandemic was like starting up, like, oh, it's starting up, but like in March and April, I couldn't find hardly any color. Like there's only blue. Like peacock blue was like the color I could find at the Dollarama, and like that was it. So I don't know how it's changed so far. I would try Amazon and see, but it's a bit tricky. Yeah, I don't know. I'll keep an eye. If I find some somewhere, I'll give you a heads up. I'll just say I found some. But as of right now, I don't know, man. Okay, and then there's some windows going on here, and they're gonna be a little smaller because this house is further away. And I'm just going to do one window because I painted over where you could potentially see another window. I feel like that window is a little bit off center. I might have to make it a little wider just to make it look normal visually. Yeah, and that sucks if you don't have white paint. That really sucks because that kind of limits you for everything. That really sucks. Still thinking about that. Like, how can we get you white paint now? Oh, all right. Let's put another window on this red house. I'm gonna make these longer. Okay. They're looking more like houses now. It's looking good. Again, it's deceptively simple looking, and then, you know, 4 hours later, you're still doing the details. No, it hasn't been. It's almost, I think we're approaching our hour and a half, are we? Yeah, we're approaching our hour and a half. That's not too bad, but this definitely, I think it's probably going to take us a good 3 hours to finish this, to be honest. Just because all the like just to get all the little intricacies. Okay, we're still gonna put like a white outline around these two. Oh, that's too bad. That sucks. Kendall was saying they got a lot of paint, different colors at Michael's, but white was just not happening. It really sucks. Oh, Bonnie, you have a little Bob Ross in your studio too. Yeah, he's my favorite. That's really, I just love his view on things where it doesn't like, it's all about just having fun with it and enjoying the process. And if you make a mistake, who cares? Let's just keep going. Let's figure it out. Let's, you know, it's a happy accident. Let's see what we can do with it. Like, I love that approach. That approach to life and to art is so great. I think we all need a little bit more Bob Ross in our lives. Positive outlook on things, right? I love it. Okay, cool. So we got those windows. We're missing a few windows on the boot. So let's do that. Did I said boat? Boat? No, a boot. It's my Canadian, be a boot. But I don't think I said boat weird. Thinking about Canadian accent. I wonder if any Americans watching feel like I have a Canadian accent. I wonder if it's coming through. Because we don't realize it, right? When everyone talks, like, you don't think about it. Okay, so these windows only go, I gotta make these ones smaller because I made them too big last time. They look funky and they did not look good. So it only goes up to where that line is here. Okay, and it's a smaller window. That looks better. Nice. And I'm gonna put another one here, about the same size. Nice. Okay, and I look over there. Yeah, it looks all right. Ah, you hear it. Bonnie hears it. Nice. Okay, so now let's do another. This one's going to be here. Another window on my boat. There we go. Ooh, lots of paint on my brush, but it's too far up. It's not going to help me where it's at. All right. That's all right. think this one needs to be a little wider. Yeah, I think that is a little better now. Oh, Bonnie has a California girl accent. Awesome. I want to hear it. I used to try to emulate that when, like, you know, with all the Valley Girl kind of stuff, right? So, like, with Clueless and I think what the movie was called. Wasn't it called Valley Girl? The one with Nicolas Cage? That was a long time ago. And, like, even with, like, Saved by the Bell. Like, they didn't really have as much. They had a little bit of the accent, but not so much on Saved by the Bell. I love that show. That was like my Saturday mornings growing up, wanting to be Kelly Kapowski because she had dark hair. And I was like, I have dark hair. All the celebrities, all the popular girls were always blonde hair, and I was like, finally, the lead has dark hair like me. Anyways, okay, cool. So what's next? What else do we want to do here? Okay, so there's a few things. Well, there's a lot of things because this is going to take, like I said, some time. Okay, so we can go in, maybe we can go in with the white and do some borders, but I want to wait actually a moment to let it dry to make sure we're good to go with that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over again my green and my red just to make it a little bit more opaque. I want that red a bit more because you can see the blue a lot coming through and I don't want to see that. So I want to get over here with red and just make it a bit more opaque. You can see the white canvas come through too much and I can see the blues, so just certain spots. I think some areas looked okay, just that one area didn't look that great. I just want to touch that up a little bit, so feel free to do the same on your boat if you need to. If you don't, that's cool. Okay, and then I'm going to go back over my boat here too. Hey Cindy, so the windows are like a really dark gray, so I didn't want to go full black. It does kind of look like that when I look at the screen, but they're actually like a really dark gray. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put like a white border, and then that's where we're going to put the element, like the window frames basically in white afterwards. So Bonnie, yeah, I don't know. I'm 38, so that's my age. I'm a 1982 baby. But yeah, I love that stuff. That was my thing. Saved by the Bell all the way. I honestly was really disappointed that high school wasn't actually like that when I went to high school. I was like, what is this? This isn't what I expected. Where's Screech? What's going on? Very disappointed. Okay, so I'm just gonna make the actual boat. So I just have my green, and I'm just gonna go over, because I have a nice base coat, so now when I do the second coat, it's gonna make it nice and opaque, so I can't see. Not as controlled in that corner there. All right, so let's not go that close to the edge. I'll need my finer brush to get closer. So I'm just going to use this medium size brush to get most of the coverage down, and then I'll switch to my fine brush just so I can get the edges down. Okay. All right, I'm gonna clean off that a little bit. Ha! You are the same age. That's hilarious. That's amazing. Yeah, I nailed it. We're both paint night teachers who love Saved by the Bell. Maybe that's like that's a thing. Anyone else? Anyone else out there in the same boat? We are painting a boat after all. Might as well all be in it. It's like younger ones are just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, so I'm just just going close to some of the edges with my green paint, because with my other brush it was scaring me and I didn't want to mess up the lines, so I'm just going a bit more detailed and going a second coat on those areas. Okay. Okay, that's better. I'm liking that way that looks a lot now. That looks great. Okay, cool. Okay, so now let's bounce back. Do we want to do the white borders around the windows now? That is the question. I kind of think I do. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go for it, guys. Let's get some white borders around these windows. Okay, now do I want to use this one or my really fine brush? These are the questions. These are the tough questions we need to do. I think I'm going to start with my number 3 brush, and I might go to my number 1 depending on how it goes. All right, so now we're going to put a nice thick white border around the window. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to put the white right on top of the gray, because I want, the way I did the window, I don't want it to be bigger than what I've done already. Like the size of the windows I've put in the gray is what I want. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so I'm going to try to see if I can get away with just using the width of the brush to be the thickness of the frame or the window. That will make our lives easier. I think that's working. Oh yeah, that's great. I'm happy with that. Okay, cool, let's do it here too. And see how beautiful acrylic paint is? Like, it dried and now the white just goes right on top of it and it's beautiful. Makes me so happy. I'm a bit of a control freak, so being able to control the paint and doing what I want it to do makes me very happy. That's why I kind of love this type of picture, because it's so precise. But like I said, it also drives me a little bit crazy. But this part, when it's working to my advantage, I'm all good with it. I guess that makes sense. I think we're all like that, aren't we? Oh, it's working out? Okay, we're on board. Nice. Yeah, I love it. Found my Californian soul sister on here. This is amazing. It's exciting. Okay, cool. Let's continue with this. Awesome. Okay, so let's just keep going around, making these windows look freaking awesome. Putting a nice border on them. And try not to stress about this line not looking as straight as I want it to. Annoying me, I will a little bit. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna move that water before I spill it. Okay, let's keep going. This actually reminds me, a while ago we did a painting. It was a peacock, proud peacock. Really fun to do, but it all, like, I think that took us, like, I think it was close to 4 hours. And this is what this is reminding me of. Because again, it was not hard. It just was, like, very precise and, like, tedious. Like, it just took a while to do it. And that's kind of what, like, this is doing, right? Like, it's not hard to put, like, a line. You just need to make sure your hand is steady and you're taking your time. And it turns out really good. It's just, yeah, it's like way longer than you think it's going to take. And I remember that picture, I felt the same way. I really enjoyed the process a lot. That was the first paint session that we did live that it took so long, and that was when it really stressed me out. Now I don't stress out as much. I'm like, well, if it happens, it happens. It's free. So, you know, I'm not going to stress about it. But, oh, that first one, I was like so worried about it. That was a day too that I think I decided to do 2 paint sessions in one day, both free. The first one didn't, like, I wasn't a fan of the way mine turned out. Again, like, it was one of those that I was like, I really wish it turned out differently. So I kind of went into the peacock session that took, like, way too long with already kind of like a feeling kind of down about it. But then the peacock did turn out really nice. It just took, like, a long time. Yeah, definitely check it out. If you're, like, digging the precision of this one and you haven't done the peacock one, I would suggest it. Again, it will take time, but it's very fun. And it's so bright and happy. I don't remember when we did it. It was a while ago. Cool. These are looking like nice substantial windows now. I like it. Oh, this is going to be tricky. Okay, I'm going to make it thick up to there. And then I'm going to make it white up here because that's the frame. Yeah, that works. Yay! Okay, what else? There is a border on this door too, so let's do that too. This one I'm going to make it, there we go, like that, yeah. Oh, I'm going to get on the green. I think I can, like, just wipe it off with my finger. Sometimes that works, but often it does not. Okay, so then let's go here. Okay, that's working. That's good. All right, let's do this one here. Oh, I feel like I can almost breathe again normally. I'm gonna make these ones a bit wider since I made these ones thinner. So always make sure you have enough paint on your brush when you're doing these, because you want to try to make the stroke like seamless all the way down. Ooh, I just curve that. Ah! That's not working out good. That's okay. What we can do is I'll get red and I'll just put red between it to kind of cover that up. It's all good. That happens. What can you do? Can't be perfect always. Ooh, that's going to be a weird door on that red house. That door is going to look really tiny. Oh well, let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to put, with the white paint, I'm going to draw the door frame, which I think is going to look really weird, but I'm going to go with it. Why not? I feel like the door looks very tiny compared to these huge windows that we've just made. But that's okay. And then we're going to paint that middle door. We'll give it a bit different shade of red, I think. And there's also a door frame here on this guy. And it goes like almost exactly where the lines of my boat are going to be. That's all right. Paint the door first, and then we'll get the boat going after. Okay, so that's the door frame of that house, and then we still need the window frame on that purple house back there. Okay, I have way too much white paint on my brush right now. I'm just gonna take some of that off so I have a bit more control of this brush again. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, now I'm gonna switch over to my, oh wait, no, I'm not yet. I'm still gonna do the borders on these guys. Where are we at? Oh, fantastic. Oh, sorry guys. Oh, awesome. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks, Bonnie. I will definitely check out yours too. So Bonnie has a free event on Thursdays. That's really exciting. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. That's awesome. Oh, thanks, Linda. Yeah, I definitely want to check yours out. That'd be really great. I think it's really great to, like, again, like I said, like, see everyone's way we do things and to support each other. And thank you for your comments. I really appreciate it. I think it's important to, like, know how to approach stuff, right? Because, like, it can seem really scary, but it's not. You just break it down into small steps, and we can do this. And there's no right way or wrong way. It's just, like, the way that you're most comfortable with, right? So we have, like, tips and tricks from people. The way I approach doing the clouds, for example, can be totally different than the way someone else approaches it. And my way isn't the right way. Your way isn't the right way. It's just whatever works for you, whatever you like best, that's the right way. Whatever is the most fun, right? Okay. So I'm using my same, like, number 3 brush. I'm trying to be very, very fine with it. So far, it is cooperating with me. So I don't need to go to my thin brush to get these lines going. I want these borders to be a little thinner. Awesome. Okay, yeah, that works out. And now by holding my brush this way, I think I'm going to keep going and doing some of the thinner panes and all the windows. So that's what I'm going to do now. So let's draw out the panes of the windows here. So some are working out better than others. Maybe I should have used my thinner brush. I was being optimistic. You know what? I'm going to switch over to my thinner brush. We'll see. Sometimes the thinner brush still drives me crazy. See, the point looks really nice on it. Like it's super, like fine, but sometimes it gets a little funky and weird. Oh yeah, I think that's my first like really crooked window too, and I use my fine brush. That's funny. No, c'est la vie. Let's keep going. It's all good. And again, these windows have the same look to them. You know, maybe you make yours look totally different, so you don't have to do the same way, right? Oh, hey Pamish. Awesome. Yeah, definitely check it out. I want to see how yours turns out too. I know you've started painting, so that's really cool. This one's like very different than what we've done already. So very precise. It's kind of like coloring. So look at it like coloring a painting or picture. You do the outlines and you have it going. That's how I approach it, and I find that it's a lot less intimidating when you look at it that way. It's like a picture from a kid's coloring book. Perfect. I can handle that. Right, a lot less intimidating. But yeah, looking pretty good so far. Nice things. Oh, awesome. Bonnie put the link for her event there. Amazing. So yes, if anyone wants to see another paint event, check out Bonnie's event tomorrow. That's super cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, so in our inspiration image, I'm going to show you once again before I do the next part. So she has put in white around around the buildings and the roof, right? So we have like a nice white border. So I'm going to put that in as well. Okay, that's my next part that I'm going to play with now for fun. I also need to put a bit more red between there because I kind of made those window panes not look right. So, but first up, let's do some white around the borders here. So I'm using my number 3 brush. Maybe I should have stuck with my thin brush, but I'm going to go back to my number 3 for now. Cool. Ah! No! No, it's looking weird. Okay, I gotta stop touching it. I went a little rogue. That did not look as nice. Okay. We'll just go back after it dries a little bit and fix it up. Okay. I'll just put some red just to shrink that line afterwards. And then it's going to come down there. Yeah, I'm going to switch over to my fine brush because this is stressing me out a little bit. Okay, let's do that. Let's see if I have more control this way. That's a little better. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's continue on with this. Ooh, I'm gonna put my hand down and I'm gonna put it on paint. Cool. Again, I'm not talking so much when I'm doing this because I'm not breathing when I'm doing this. Okay, I'm gonna outline the yellow house now. Just put a white kind of border. I might have to touch up with some purple in there. Made it a little thick. Okay, we're gonna bring this here. Okay. Now let's come down this side. So I'm just outlining this yellow house with the white, kind of to copy essentially the style of the original painting, which makes it look kind of cool that way. And I'm gonna do the same thing here too. Not too shabby. Awesome. All right, so I'm just looking at our inspiration image to see what else we want to do. If we want to do any other border lines with white, which I don't think I do right now. No, I don't think I'm going to do any more of that right now. Okay, parfait. Oh, awesome. Oh, good. I'm glad. Oh, yeah, Patty. You always watch first, right? I remember I think from last week you were saying that. You like to watch and then you attempt it later on. I love it. You're the one that was helping me with my words and what I was saying last time. I appreciate it. Awesome. Okay, cool. Awesome. So, where shall we travel to next? Okay, it's 8. So now we're at the 2-hour mark. So now this is where I know for sure it's going to take me till 9, for sure. Okay, so now I'm like a little bit more pressured. Where else are we going to go with this? All right, well, I want to straighten up this line here because I went too far into my red. So I'm going to touch this up before I move on to something else. I want to make that a little thicker. I know it's very like precise in that way, and it's going to bother me if I don't do that right now. All right, so that's fine now. Okay, so next up, we still need to get those like posts in. I think we should do those posts now before we move on to something else. I think that will be good. Oh wait, no, you know what we need to do? If we want to make these doors a slightly different shade, we need to do that first. All right, sorry, I'm bouncing around a bit now. Knowing we got to the 8 o'clock mark, I'm like, let's see what else we need to do. Okay, I'm actually going to, I got a little bit of black paint, and I'm just gonna lightly outline this door here. Ooh, my black paint is very dry. When your paint sits for too long, your acrylic will dry. So just put a little bit of water just to liven it back up again. Do I want to outline the whole thing? Yeah, I do. Okay, let's do that. Like that. Yeah, actually that's working nice. Okay, cool. Awesome, awesome. I'm going to do the same thing with blue door. And I think that just kind of makes it pop a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing. It's going to be so minimal, but yeah, I think that is good. All right. Now with the black paint as well, if you want to be super precise too, we can actually do a slight outline around the windows. And if you do that, it's gonna like totally make them boom and pop. But that's gonna take some time to do. I think it's worth it, personally. If we can get nice thin lines. If you're finding that that's not happening, then you might want to abandon this part of it. Or you could even use, like, once it dries, I've used before like a very fine tip, like a Sharpie. If you want to cheat a little bit. We won't tell anyone. Yeah, I think I'm digging that. I'm going to do it on this one too. I might leave the yellow one as is. I might just do a little bit of detailing on these ones. It's not even perfect detailing, but that's okay. I think that's going to still look kind of cartoonish and neat. I like it. I want to get that middle part too. I want to put red in there because I went a bit too fat on the windows in this house. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. All right. I might want to go through and detail it all, so I won't do that right now because I feel like that will take a very, very long time. But I am going to just put red paint in between here because windowsills are a little fat. Okay. And this side too. Gotta see it there. Okay, that's fine. I'll leave that for now. Alright, cool. So we have a little bit of outlines there and there. Perfection. Alright, so let's get those posts in the background there. So we have kind of brown. I do have some brown. Let's use that. Cinnamon brown, in fact. Cinnamon brown. Okay, so okay, so these posts should be about the same height-ish, and they're gonna go around the back here. So we're gonna start with one that's here. And I think I'm gonna start with just kind of putting them in just the width of my paintbrush and just having more of a distance between them, and I'll fatten them up as I need to. So I'm gonna put another one here. Okay, they're gonna be a bit fatter afterwards. Another one's gonna come here, and then another one's gonna come here, and then where else? We can't really see them because there's gonna be big bundles here, and then will we? No, we will be able to see them because the road's there. Okay, hold on, one bad. I feel like, yeah, I definitely made that a bit weird. The size of it is strange. I think I'm gonna bring this house a bit lower. I don't think that makes sense. Okay, I'm just gonna fatten these up a little bit and then I will see about that side. Yeah, it's kind of throwing me off. I feel like that's a bit too high. Maybe I won't continue it on that side right yet. Okay, now. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave that just as is for now. I think I want to touch that up and make that a little bit different because I feel like that's gonna look strange. If I put like a pencil across, maybe I should have continued the Gosh, I feel like it's a bit off. Okay, I'm gonna leave that for now because I'm not liking the way it's going. So I'm just gonna ignore it. Okay, I didn't put a sun in, and I kind of feel like I should before I move on to do other boat details. I feel like that only makes more sense. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so let's get some yellow. Okay, so I'm just getting like yellow and just circling in my sun. Nice and bright and shiny. Get some white and I'm just gonna mix it in as I go here. And I'm just bringing it out with a dry brush just to make it look kind of streaky around it. So the sunshine is like all over the place. Nice and pretty. I think I'm gonna leave it like that, and then I might do a little bit of a border of yellow, of orange. Sorry, not yellow. I'm gonna mix some red into it a bit. Okay. I'm just gonna go like this. Just put like a little outline of orange around it. Like that. Clean my brush off. And I'm just gonna go back to that dry brush and then just like soften it a bit with a dry brush. Okay, that looks cute. Nice. Okay, awesome. All right. You know what? I'm gonna do my big bundles of stuff that live inside this boat, shall we? All right, so they're brown, it looks like barrels. Okay, so let's just paint these in. Okay. Okay, that's one. So let's just block them in. I'm just going to use brown to do this, and then can detail it in a little bit once we have the color and it's wet and we know where each of the barrels are going to live. Okay, there's some kind of stuff happening right there. Okay, I'm just gonna let that dry a bit before I start trying to put any detail on that. Okay, now we do have that lifesaver that's living there. So let's just get some white and let's block that in. It's gonna be smaller, I think, than I put a lot of paint on that brush. Let's just try to make a circle, like a donut. There we go. Nice. Okay. So once we got that going, okay, I'm gonna wait again till it dries before I put the red on, because if I put the red on it right now, it's going to be funky and it's not gonna look right. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go back and I'm just going to fix up my house a bit while I just wait for the stuff to dry. I think I need to bring my house down a little bit. I think I made my house a little bit, I made this barrier a little bit too high on the side, so I'm just going to bring my house further down. Meh. It's totally gonna be pink. Okay. That will do for now. Okay. Fix that up slightly. Okay. We also haven't done this white part on the boat. And now when I'm looking at it, it's like way thicker than the original part. So I think I'm gonna slim that down slightly. I do need some more white. Okay, so let's block that part in. Okay, so this part I think is good. So I'm just gonna bring this white kind of lip of the boat all the way to the front. I think I made it, like I said, a little bit too big. That's okay, we can minimize it a little bit still. Okay, so I think this is gonna only come out to there. make that a little bit bigger now. I feel like it should come down a bit more. Okay, I'm going to bring, I'm gonna bring this guy down a bit. So I want him to be a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's better. And then, so I could have just really just brought up the green, but I want to just, I prefer to do it this way. I prefer to do it the hard way. So I'm just going to bring everything on the boat a little bit closer to that line, because I like where that line is living. There we go. That does look better. Okay. So I was going to bring this yellow house further down. Okay. And turquoisey house down as well. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. And that gray. Actually comes here. It's the gray from that street, and then it goes like this. Yes, that's better. It's better continuity, I think. That works. Okay, cool. Let's put in these posts. I did put them over that. That was not smart. Okay, that's fine. We'll fix that. Okay, there we go. Okay. So now I can put some pillars on this side. They look kind of weird behind the big pile of brown stuff in there, but that's all right. All right, cool. What's next? Okay, everyone who's still with me, hopefully you guys are still enjoying and still doing well with it. Okay, so just going to touch a bit here. Good, that's good. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to take a moment from there. I think I'm going to go back to my life saver ring thing. Let's put the red in it, shall we? So there's 3 areas where there's red. So it's here. Yeah. Should have used my fine brush. I'm going to go and switch into that one for the rest of it because that was not as it should be. There you go. That one's a lot easier. Okay. Let's touch that one up after. That side is just not my friend. That works too. Okay, that's how it's gonna be because it's not gonna be any other way. Awesome. All right. Let's see. All right, so a few other components we have left. So we obviously have the flagpole with the flag with the lobster on it. We also have the birds still to do. We have the back part of the boat that's still not in place. And we have the detailing on the barrels and then birds in the sky. If you want to add birds in the sky, it's up to you. You can add some fish in the water too if you want. And then too, like, it will really make it pop if you can get very, very, very thin black to outline. If you look on the original, there's like a thin black outline in a lot of around the buildings and around the windows and whatnot. So that would look really great, but it's not necessary. But it will make it pop if you want to do that too. Okay, let's go on to is this all dry yet? Okay, I want to do the back part of the boat here to connect that all up together. So that's kind of like this like light gray blue flow. Okay, so that comes out of this area here, and I can still see my pencil mark slightly. And this is basically gonna travel all the way to the tip of the boat. Okay. I'm gonna bring it down like that. I'm gonna bring this in this way, this color, and I'm gonna mix it in with the white. So it kind of like goes from that one color to a white color, so it kind of blends naturally. Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. And then now let's put in, so it should be slightly thicker. funny, me too. The barrels are obviously the lobster traps. That's what they are, since it's the lobster boat. Silly me. And you can tell, like, in the picture too, like the lobster traps. Cool. Okay. Okay, so this goes like this. What is that going to that part there? Okay. So you're on kind of a bit of an angle. There we go. Nice. I think that's decent enough. I feel like, yeah, my boat definitely does not, and maybe this line is actually a bit too high. I think it should be lower. You know what? I kind of want to fix it. I don't like it. So how are we going to fix that, you might ask? Well, we're going to paint right over it. Maybe with the right colors. Maybe not with green on yellow. That would be cool. That is not what I want. Okay. Let's grab yellow instead. Yeah, that was not what I wanted. Okay. So we're going to just paint right over the colors that we just did. Okay. Okay. That did not work the way I wanted it to work. But as you can see, acrylic is pretty awesome. And you can kind of paint right over it, and your mistakes are almost invisible, which is nice. Almost. I'm not being super precise. I'm not letting it dry out fully, so it's not going to be 100% with me. But if you let it dry fully and you go over, you won't be able to tell. A little bit more patience than I do. All right, let's try that again, shall we? There we go. Okay, so now it's almost back to the way it was before. I want that tip to be really high up, so I'm going to bring that line down. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, watercolor's a whole other ball game. If you're using watercolor, like when I say acrylic, this is what you do first, this is what you do second. Watercolors, like you have to, yeah, you almost gotta do backwards of what you say with acrylic. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna start it lower, and then I'm gonna bring it higher. And that looks better. Now before I continue to fill it in, I'm going to look further back, because I did not do that before. That is better. That is much better. Okay, cool. I want it to have a nice tip. I still want it to blend in with my white paint that lives here. But I'm glad that I made that mistake, because I want you guys to see how easy it is, like, to manipulate and to play with it, right? So if you make a mistake, like, we all make mistakes. We all, like, mess things up. And that's part of the process, right? That's part of the learning. And you can see that you can fix it, and it can turn out to look really nice. And you don't have to stress. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put these little lines in it to connect it. Yeah, that looks way better. Okay, I'm still going to touch the background. Like, again, I'm doing it fast and I'm not really letting it dry. If you want to be really precise, let them dry in between touch-ups, and then you can be really precise and make sure everything turns out really detailed and make it look like nothing happened and it was exactly the way you wanted it. Aw, thanks, Bounty. That's awesome. Yeah, always go with the flow. No stressing. No stressing. Right, oil. So Bonnie was saying too that with Bob Ross, he uses all oil paint, and that's a whole different ball game. And I totally agree. I actually I'm too scared to try oil. My now husband, we started dating 15 years ago. One of the first gifts he gave me was this beautiful set of oil paints, and it's still in the same box as when he gave it to me, because I am so terrified to open it up and try it. Like, I haven't even done that. That's how terrified of it I am. I'm like, no, it's too much. I can't do it. I need to at one point, but I'm digging my acrylic still, and I'm like, no, let's just stick with what I know. Again, even acrylics can be challenging, right? So I'm like, no, it's fine. I don't know them yet. I can still learn more. So yeah, it's all in a box there. All right, so let's get these traps, these lobster traps going. So it pretty much, we're gonna just do kind of like a grid. Okay, so fine brush, and then you're just going to make it feel like, make it like a grid. So it's like the front of the trap of it. I'm gonna put another one here. Same thing. I'm not gonna worry so much about this part. I'm just going to give it the feeling that they're lobster traps. Okay, and then there's like another one in the back here. Can't see it fully because we have another barrel right in front of it. Another trap right in front of it. And then there's like another one here. Okay, cool. Just to give an idea of where they are. And then we're going to get black. I think I'm just going to use the black paint and just like outline. Ooh, put a lot of water. I don't want it to be drippy. So just make sure you don't have a lot of water. And I'm just going to outline this part in black. And I'm also not going to stress about the outline too much. I'm just going to kind of go with it. And hopefully it, yeah, so far it's been working. That's good. And here, ooh, that one did not work. There we go. Cool. Okay, and then I'm just going to outline where my barrels, oh my gosh, I really want them to be barrels. The traps are. So I'm just going to put a black outline of where each lobster trap lives on my boat. There we go. All right. Okay. So, ooh. Hi, my son is here, and we're still going. Careful, don't do that. No, I have a light here.
Oh.
Don't get hurt.
I just wanted to say goodnight.
All right, good night.
Way past my bedtime.
I know it is.
Looks good so far.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, go.
All right, good night. So yeah, this is taking a little bit longer than normal. There we go. That's back with the light. Okay, so we got those going. That's a good idea, Bonnie. I should definitely do that. I'm scared. I'm so scared. Have you used oil paints? I'm curious if you have to. Hey, Sandra. Yeah. No problem. Yeah, it's definitely this is definitely a long experience. Hey guys, can you close the door, please? Thank you. Sorry, they left the door open when I left the room. It's a little loud. Maybe you couldn't hear it, but it was distracting for me. Okay, so alright, I'm just gonna outline that a bit. Okay, so I like those turned out beautiful. I'm very happy with it. There are a little bit of, I'm kind of going like a little bit of, just got a bit of yellow paint, and I'm just like gonna touch up them slightly on the, just to give it a bit of texture on these traps. I don't really know what they actually look like, but they kind of have this look in the inspiration painting, and so that is what I'm doing. They kind of look more rough. Nice. Beautiful. Okay. All right, so we need to get that flagpole. Oh yeah, we have all those buoys too. Shoot, I forgot about those buoys. All right, that's okay. We're gonna get it done. All right, so let's get this flagpole up. So we need to get like a, maybe we'll start with like a white, like a very light gray. I think I'm gonna use my number 3 brush. Ah, so you went to them first and then watercolors. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, one of our nieces, she's really good with watercolors. She's so talented with them. But when she was kind of going through her process with them, yeah, they can be very challenging. They're kind of like, you have to let them do their thing. You can't force them to do any particular thing. You have to kind of like go with it, and see where they kind of land. So that I can see that even being less of control. My hubby does not paint with me, but my son has in the past. Some of my first paint parties, if you go right to the beginning, you'll see my son painting along with me. But then he decided no after we went on. Okay, so I can still see the outline of my flagpole. So I'm going to follow that down, and it goes down right to my boat, and I kind of go where I'm not supposed to go, but that's okay. I can always go white paint and paint over that if necessary. And then I'm gonna paint my ball thing here. Boom. Nice. So that looks pretty opaque too, which is convenient. That's nice. Okay, cool. Great. Beautiful. We're going to add some more detail to that once it dries a bit, just to give it a bit of a shine and whatnot. Okay. And then let's get our flag, and let's just paint the full flag white. This will give you a nice base, because you want to get it all like one solid color. And then when we paint the lobster on it, it will come out nicer. If you have it, the different colors popping through, then when you do the lobster, it might not show up as nice. If you have a nice white background, it will show up a lot easier. Okay. So I might need another coating before we want to paint something on there. So I'm going to leave that to dry for a bit. I'm going to get my fine brush. And I'm just going to put a bit of highlight on this pole. So I'm going to put like a curve here in white. And then I'm going to just in white paint, just put, and I got to keep putting some white paint on there because it's still wet. Put a few like lines just for it to show that there's like a reflection in the white. I should probably wait till it dries, but it's getting late, so that's what's happening. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing with black to do a shadow on it. So I want to do it around. I want it to come around this way. That was definitely too thick, some spots, and so we're just going to fix it up a little bit. And this needs to be redone here. Okay. I think that's what we're going to do that for now. Okay, cool. Next up, what do we got? Okay, so we need to do those boys. We need to do the birds too. So we're not going to do the lobster yet because we want to wait a moment or two for that. And okay. Let's see. I'm going to get those boys in, I think. We'll get the birds in maybe. Okay, we'll do the birds. Yeah, okay, we'll do the birds. The birds, let's use white just to outline how the shape and their color. So this guy lives up here, okay, and we're gonna just do like a small circle for the body, essentially, and then, so like here we're gonna do a small circle in white paint, which looks a little bit weird because there's white paint behind it, but it's okay. So that's gonna be like his body. Okay. And his head lives on top and is another kind of circle. Okay. Kind of like that. Kind of snowman-esque. But then we have to put in his wings. And that's going to come out down. And we're going to swoop them back. Into a point. Okay, it's hard to see because there's white behind it, but that's okay because we're going to add a little bit of color to the bird afterwards. We need to have it on white just so it stands out a bit, right? And then his beak is going to come this way. It'll be in yellow eventually. Okay, so that's where that guy's going to live. I'm going to let that dry. Let's paint the other guy who's living on these barrels. So again, he's more oblong. So he kind of has, let's get his head going. So I'm going to paint him here. Yeah, I am. So let's get his head first. So like a nice kind of circle. And then we're going to almost like paint like a bowling pin. So we're going to make it come down. So kind of like a bowling pin. Or like one of those like peg dolls. You guys have seen those? Or like a sorry game piece. How many other? No, that actually doesn't look like a sorry game piece at all. I was going a little bit too much. Getting into my descriptions of different things. Okay, so you have that going. And then now we're going to bring out his body. So it's going to come down. It's going to swoop down. So he has a wing. And then this is pretty flat. So it's going to come like that. I'm going to fill it in. Okay. And then I'm going to soften his neck a little bit. There we go. And then we want it to be pink. There we go. Okay, so there is the outline of our bird. Our pigeon, I'm assuming. Okay, so they're gonna live there and there. Exactly. Okay, so let's paint him up a little bit. Well, let's have a bit of blue on my brush. So I'm going to get these wings going. So I'm just putting a little bit of blue where the wings live. Again, just like paint it in like you're painting a blue or like gray, like a kind of a gray blue-ish. A seagull. Yes, that's what it is. It's not a pigeon. Clearly I live in the city. All right, so let's get this going. All right, so I got the wings going. This guy's a smaller one. The other one's a bit bigger. That's cool. Okay, let's get a little bit of gray going on just to give a little bit of get his head and his belly a little bit. A little bit more in his wing. Okay. I'm just going to get more white just to dull out the gray a little bit, to blend it in a bit. Okay, and then his beak. I'm just using yellow for his beak. Okay. Okay, and then black. Give him a little eye. Give him a little eye. Ooh, that's not a very good eye. Let's try that again, shall we? Oh. That's a little creepy, but that's fine. He's a bigger bird, so you get a bigger eye, I suppose. There we go. Oh, I didn't give him any feet. That would be important, I suppose. So where is he standing? He's standing like right on this barrel. There we go. And this little guy is on this barrel here. On this barrel. No, on this railing. That's what I meant to say. Okay, and that eye does look weird, so I'm going to touch it up with some white paint and not make it look as scary, hopefully. Just use white paint just to try to make it a little smaller. Now he has like a weird black eye. That's because I didn't let him dry. There you go. That's fine. It's better. I can always touch him up later. Okay. Cool. So let's, you know what, let's leave the boys for now, because honestly, if that's something we don't end up doing, we'll end up, you can put them in later. Like they kind of just look like balloons that are hanging off the side. Let's do the lobster right now, and then we can decide if we want to stay on and do the boys, or if you guys are kind of done, and then we can move on from that, right? And then Yeah, so let's do lobster. So I need a little bit more red. Okay, and let's talk through how we're going to paint this lobster. So let's look at it like shapes, right? So we look at the lobster. So in the middle of the body, I see a rectangle. So let's put a rectangle. Okay, so we're gonna do that. So like this, and make it a little smaller than what you think you want him to be. Okay, so there's a rectangle. Okay, and the head is kind of an oval. Like a sideways oval. Right? Okay. And then the bottom looks kind of like a fun skirt. So we're gonna kind of go out and we're gonna make it like a fun skirt kind of thing. Okay, cool. That looks a little inappropriate right now. All right. Then we're gonna put the antenna. Okay. And the like, I'm gonna have it come out just like, and then the pinchers. Whoop. Just get the idea of it, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, cute. And then we need 8 little like that. There's your lobster. You know what I thought it looked like. I'm trying to keep it family friendly, but it reminded me of that. Anyways, so now we can just put a little bit, I'm gonna get a bit of black and just like touch it up a little bit just to add, see, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna do it, I'm not gonna be happy with it. So I'm just gonna put a little bit, just to like break up the body a bit, and then put a little bit of detailing with the black, which I may or may not want to keep, we shall see. There's like a couple of lines in the middle here. Okay. Okay, so I think that's all I'm gonna do. It's fine the way it is, like that. Alrighty then, I think I want to also outline my flag with a bit of black. I think that will just make it pop. Yeah, I think that looks nicer. Kind of got funky here, so I'm just gonna get white and just touch it up slightly. Looks very gray because I definitely did not let that dry. That's okay. Just put a little more white and I'll blend it in a little bit, and now it looks like a shadow. Kind of. It still looks like a mistake, but that's okay. We're not gonna worry about that too much right now. Awesome. So, we can put in some birds in the sky. So the birds are in white and they're gonna be nice and easy. Oh yeah, white. That's not even gonna show up at all in the sky, is it? Because I have beautiful clouds popping out. Okay, so we're gonna do like a grayish, so it comes out a bit better. Okay, so I'm gonna put in like that. It's kind of like spread out. M shapes. Nice. Okay, and you can always add a little bit of white. You can add a little bit of black if you want to make them pop a little bit. But I think for now, I think we're going to call that complete for now. There are a few more things that I would like to do, obviously. So I would like to still put in those boys in, right? And I think I would like to, probably before I call it fully complete, I would like to outline it a little bit in black in certain areas. I do think that would look a lot nicer. But I don't think now is the time that I'm going to do it because I feel pretty tired of it right now. So I think that's about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that paint party, and it was really great to spend this nice evening with you. This is already at 9 o'clock, so it's been 3 hours, but I would say that's pretty great, and that's pretty complete. I think I could pass for complete at this point. Pretty decent. Nice. I'll snap a picture of this and I'll put it in the paint parties as well, so you guys can use mine as reference if you want. And again, this will be live, so or available under the videos. The live will be available there, so you can watch it whenever is convenient for you. So whatever works is good. So again, this was our inspiration image. Beautiful painting by Lisa Lorenz, a Canadian artist. She has many other paintings. Check out her site if you like her style of work. And